always save the best for last. Save promoting your products or services for last. There's like this 80-20 rule of 80% educating or inspiring and 20% selling. So that way, by the time people are ready to buy from you, it's a no-brainer to them.
Hi, I'm Zaakirah, and I am the host of the See Life Different podcast. This podcast is perfect for you if you are a Black, Indigenous, woman of color, ready to step outside of your comfort zone. This podcast will inspire you, empower you, and educate you on how to see life differently, whether it's in your business or in your personal life. I am a cancer survivor, brand cultivating strategist, author, and world traveler. Let's get into it. So for today's episode, we are repurposing content. This is a previously recorded conversation from 2021. So before we even get into the episode, I want to make sure that there's a few context, and especially because there's a few changes that has happened since then. So this is actually an excerpt of an audio. You may hear it may be a slightly bit choppy because it was from a Q&A conversation all about email marketing, but it's being repurposed from a conversation that I had with a group called Rising Tide Society. Rising Tide Society is a nonprofit that is really focused on building that sense of community, especially among entrepreneurs, so that you don't have to take the entrepreneur journey by yourself. It originally was named Tuesday Together, so most commonly, entrepreneurs would spend Tuesday together either in person or later as the pandemic came on Zoom to really help each other to build all of these little aspects about entrepreneurship together. So I got the chance to be a guest speaker. This is before I actually got to become a leader of the Dallas, Texas chapter. But it was all about email marketing. It was right before the Black Friday holiday, which is normally around October, November. So I figured, why not repurpose this conversation so that you can utilize it for email marketing as well. So you'll hear and learn really about tips and strategies about how to make email marketing effective for you, and why you should be using email marketing a bit more, and how to integrate your own stories, as well as how to automate. This has been the year of AI, artificial intelligence, but automation has been around at least to the mid 2020s. It's just now that it's about to be, sorry, I said mid 2020s, mid 2000, let me say that. It's been around for a while, but now that we're in the 2020s, more people are actively using it. So I gave a few tips and tricks about automating, how to collect, more emails, and even more strategies. But before we get into those strategies, so that you can use it for your personal brand and your entrepreneurship, the first thing I want to share is that you may hear me talk about my brand Focus with a PH, PHOCUSED. I want to update that I'm no longer using that brand. As of 2022, I've officially practice what I preach and been utilized and make everything under one umbrella of the See Like Different brand. So I still do offer marketing consultations and strategies, and still do done for you services, but it's everything falling under the See Life Different brand. The same brand that started based off of the book is now the one where I do it with the podcast. It's also the same extension of the radio show, and it's also the same name as the summit. So just trying to keep everything under the same name, so that aside from recognizing my name as Zaakirah, Nayar online, ZAAKIRAHNAYYAR online, that See Life Different, or seeing life through a different lens, is associated with me. The next part of it is that I mentioned a tip called Revu, Revu. It was actually an integrated newsletter format, very similar to, the mediums or even the Substack that you see nowadays. But unfortunately, because of Twitter's changes, as of 2023, Twitter is becoming renamed to X the spot, if you will. But because of all of Twitter changes and the changes in the CEO, they no longer use Revu. But I did start to mention a couple of other platforms that could be used as an alternative. So I'm definitely all about making sure that you get off of social media. Use social media, to network, to build your brand, but get off of it. Grab those email addresses, grab those phone numbers, grab those in-person connections as often as you can. So in this conversation, I will talk about my favorite things, about the top 3 popular used email marketing platforms right now, which are Flowdesk, MailChimp, and ConvertKit. But because I'm a huge ConvertKit advocate, in the next episode, it'll be another repurposed episode, but I'll dive even deeper into how to really utilize ConvertKit and all of ConvertKit's new features that aren't mentioned here, but I'll talk about, what they've been up to later. And they'll also be sure to check out the show notes so that you can see the affiliate link to any link that were mentioned. You can get access to that so that you are able to have a system and a set of emails that work for you. Here's to more ease when it comes to your marketing, and I hope you enjoy the episode.
Okay, so email marketing is what we're going to talk about today. And so I am Zaakirah. I am a creative strategist, professional portrait photographer, and now I help entrepreneurs confidently grow their brands while mastering their marketing. So I've been utilizing email marketing first for nonprofits and small businesses. Before 2014, I started to do it for my own. And so today I'll go over just briefly what is email marketing, why you need to be taking advantage of it, my favorite, and then of course the how-to strategies. So I grabbed this from MailChimp. I feel like it's the easiest way to kind of give us a refresh as to what email marketing is. And so it's definitely direct marketing. So the same way that you would, back in the day, utilize your postcards and your business cards, it's direct marketing. And it helps to make sure your customers are aware of the latest things that you offer. And it continues to build relationships. And so then for me, I wanted to talk more about like who I am and what I do. So when I started Focus Media Group back in 2018, it was really because I had saw the struggle. I saw the struggle of, I was being a social media manager for other, womenpreneurs and their businesses. And I was, working on their social media. But every question that I had, whenever we would review the stats, I'm like, how are things looking on your end? Are you converting over? Are you converting these social media followers? And so they would say, yeah, I mean, we're getting more website views. But I'm like, okay, how are they retaining to be customers? And so basically I was like, you know what? I think this is probably where my new zone of genius is. And so for me, I've been traveling around the world and I'm a photographer first and foremost. So a camera literally saved my life. That's a whole nother story. And then I'm certified in Adobe Photoshop, Cornell, and Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. I took a certification program that was online at USF. So yeah, questions for you. I think we'll make it interactive one more time. Where were you when Instagram went down? Well, funny enough, I was attending a photography conference, and I think one of the sessions at the time was about SEO, ironically. So I was about to go to Twitter to talk about, my tidbit from the conference, and as soon as I go to Twitter, Instagram and Facebook is down again. I'm like, oh. So I think for me, because I've always been into email marketing, I was the latter. I was nonchalant. I was like, oh, okay. So now my question is for you. I think maybe keep this question in your mind as you're going through the entire thing of how are you going to convert the customers who come to your website, or in this case, come to your social media. So I'll briefly talk about my favorite things. So I do have a referral link if you feel like changing email marketing platforms. But MailChimp is what I started with. That's what I did when I was first starting out my email list. I started my email list, of course, with friends and family, and then later on, once I started to either sell my photography course or sell my book, I then would, transition over to others and start exploring other platforms. So you can have up to 2,000 subscribers for free. You can have a website on there. You can integrate it with QuickBooks. I feel like it's the only one so far that integrates with QuickBooks, only because they've recently been acquired by Intuit. So that's all the, Mint and QuickBooks and all of the money apps, it's all under Intuit. And then ConvertKit is what I ended up switching over to for a split second. Even though it was established in 2013, I think I joined it maybe in 2015, and it was good for a year. I actually got a referral code as well from a different influencer by the name of Melissa Griffin, and it was amazing because they actually had easy to use workflows that you could use that were super helpful as far as knowing how to build an average 5 email sequence that you would need to use to sell. And of course, with that sequence, it gave me the confidence and the boost as well. And I was able to sell my first, student for my photography course. And then, of course, the best is Flowdesk. So it was established in 2019, and it's the only one, I actually learned it today, it's the only one that has Apple Mail tracking privacy. Now, I'm sure some of us will get discouraged because we see, oh, people aren't reading our emails, but actually what could be happening is they've turned off that you can see that they've read their email. But also what happens is because it's email, the great thing about email is that it's so easy for people to find. So if you post on social media, people will, if it's, 9 posts back, if they're new to your page, most likely 9 out of 10 times, they're not going to scroll back, right? But the good thing about email marketing is that people can organize your email. They can search for your emails more easily. They can filter your emails. So your emails are always going to be received, especially because it will happen again, when Instagram and Facebook go down again. So basically, it's always going to. Is that a typo? Yeah, that's a typo. This is supposed to say Flowdesk, but it also has very modern, sleek designs, and they all look the same, but it makes it easier for you. All you have to do is add your logo, add a certain statement, like your mission statement, and then have enough. It has enough space, and it'll adjust the font accordingly, the font size accordingly to fit however long your email is. And it works great with Zapier. So I would definitely be giving more suggestions on how to use Zapier to continue to grow your email list. So now we're talking about that growing your list. So it definitely will take time. It definitely will take consistency, and it's definitely changing because, like we said, there are people who can block off whether or not you can see that they've checked their email. Which some of us, if we look at data, it kind of is discouraging, but it shouldn't be. But as long as you continue to either post once a month, I say start focusing on posting once a week. Or even at max 3 times a week, especially as you get closer to Black Friday, so that people really can know you and be familiar with you and be familiar with your voice and even become excited to see your name pop up in their inbox. So cross promotion, I think one of the best ways for growing is make that your call to action. So put it in your email signature when you're, pitching or talking to other customers and clients. Put it in your email signature. Sign up for my email list. When you are using it for like your link tree, talk about it there. When you are getting to talk to other platforms, put it there, and make it a part of your digital business card, like your link tree. Okay, so now how can you use the email sequence? Because I think that's the biggest thing that I think gets slept on. Your email sequence is really what gets people to, hold on a second, really what gets people to, well, I'm going to come back to the email sequence though, but I'm going to briefly mention it because it's what gets people to utilize having a story and getting excited for your story. So the best way is really break down your story, your why, your mission, why you do what you do in 5 emails. So when it comes to sharing your story, definitely be vulnerable. Show some behind the scenes. Be personable. So a perfect example of being personable is even though you sometimes may not want to do what everyone else is doing, but if everyone else is sending emails around the same time, you kind of want to be in there as well. So even though it may seem like, oh, this is too many emails today, actually you kind of do want your name to be shown there. So for example, when Instagram and Facebook went down, I was already going to send an email because I had a challenge going on in my email list. So a 5-day challenge. And so I was sending the email anyways, but of course you can tweak the subject line to then say something in your own voice of like where were you at, what would happen when Instagram went down, you know? And then inspiration, everyone could use it, especially during these tough times. So inspiration is either sharing another part of your story, something that you've overcame, and then little known facts about you. So how many people know that you have a sibling, for example? I think Taylor would give me an example of flights shutting down and preparing for, siblings to get out of your space and then promoting your services and products. So I kind of say go in this order if possible, but always save the best for last. Save promoting your products or services for last. There's like this 80-20 rule of 80% educating or inspiring and 20% selling. So that way, by the time people are ready to buy from you, it's a no-brainer to them. Now, lead magnets. I think some people don't use lead magnets, and that's okay. But for those who are comfortable with lead magnets, I wanted to just leave a few examples. So I think also what's more relevant for the audience here is your products have like a giveaway. If you can't do that within your budget, have a giveaway. You can also have, I think you've seen on your favorite businesses, the email list that you're on, you see that you go to their website, you shop, they say sign up for our email list to get 20% off. You can do that as well. Get 20% off my copywriting services. Get 20% off your first session. Get a discount off your quality session, or sign up to get a free discovery call. So however you want to do it to kind of get people in, 9 out of 10 times, the lead magnet is something that you are able to give for free, give some kind of value for free. These are just my examples that I've used. When I do the challenges, I have like a workbook, so people know that they'll get the workbook when they sign up for the email list. Some people also will sign up because they want to hear more from podcasts, like podcasts that you've been on, or if you have your own podcast. These are just a few examples. There's endless examples that we can talk about more at the end. And a few more tips. So this is going into, once you're in your marketing platform, even the one that you already use, here are a few things that probably get slept on, as I like to say. Use the resend feature. So just like we talked about, there's so many people that don't see our emails, or so we think. So resend it. Just send it again. So give value more than you sell. So once again, I think when you open the email, to also keep it short and simple, but when you are sharing in your email list, definitely give more value than you would sell. So only depends on, I think, moving on to the next tip of tag and filter and segment, which means if you have had people on your email list and you're able to look at your statistics and see that they are pretty consistent with opening your emails, like they're like in a high percentage of they always open the email, definitely either tag them or filter them as like, your most viewed subscribers or your fans, or however you want to rename it, because it's renamed just for you. So whatever you name it, you can name it just so you know who these group of people are. And that way, these are the people that if you know that they read every single one of your emails, then they know what you do. Most likely, 9 out of 10 times, they know what you do. They're just waiting for either that one FOMO moment or a discount or giveaway or sale that you're having, so that they're ready to buy from you. So definitely don't sleep on the option to either tag or segment your followers. So for me, I started using this, especially with, when I started out with friends and family, like that's great. That's great for, becoming more comfortable with sharing your story, and doing that. But I would then segment them like, okay, I only tell them when I have news, like life changing news that I want to tell them, because that's great as well for, you're my family, so let me tell you first. And then of course split it also for the lukewarm customers, the ones that are they wanted to learn more about you but they haven't bought from you yet. And then of course there's even segmenting the ones that have already bought from you. And I say automate, automate, automate. I think the first example that comes into my mind for automate is vacation. Even though my goal for this conversation today is to make sure that you have as many emails as you can going out on a consistent basis before Black Friday. Even after Black Friday, there's more people who want something from your inventory or want to book a session with you and you're away. The good thing is that you can still give value by automating. You don't even have to physically be there when people sign up for your email list. They're going through this 5-day, usually 5 days, 5-day email sequence, and then eventually selling from, buying from you. A/B testing is what also should be utilized more often to make sure that you're actually using the right subject line. Because 9 out of 10 times, you win by getting people's email addresses, and then you also win by getting people to open your emails, right? But 9 out of 10 times, as soon as you get people to open your emails, it's normally a 50-50 chance that they'll buy from you. Not as long as you made it clear, as long as you made the call to action clear. So I'm going to give a web resource at the end, but alternate your subject lines. Maybe alternate it with one serious type of subject line versus one playful type of subject line. Alternate it with the same subject line with and without emojis. Alternate it with and without using their name in the subject line. Alternate it with and without a question. So A/B testing is a great way to see what works best to get more opens. Okay. I'm really just emphasizing on growing your email list, because especially again after Instagram and Facebook went down, how else are people going to really keep in touch with you? So definitely have that everywhere. So one of my first tips actually is to post your social media post on your email first. MailChimp, um, MailChimp is the easiest way for you to start on your MailChimp app, and then you can also then send that same social media post to Instagram and Facebook. Of course, you can send it to Twitter too, but then you have to do some tweaking to adjust it. And then promote your landing page. So when people click on your link tree, they really should be going to, say, for example, get 20% off your first order, and that will go to that landing page. In that landing page, you would have already set it up in the back end for, okay, the person who clicked on this specific landing page is a new customer. So I know how to segment those emails so that I'm not talking about something that they would not know about. They would not know that I do. If you don't already have it, make sure your sign up bar is at the bottom of your website. Alternatively, there's a website called MailMunch. The website is actually mailmunch.co, not mailmunch.com, but this was very popular before all the websites had embedded pop-up email subscription box. But most of them now, they are integrated. Like Flowdesk has it now, MailChimp has it now, but MailMunch was able to work with all of them and still collect emails from pop-ups on every aspect of your page. I'm sure we've all seen it on websites. Sometimes they're annoying, sometimes they're not, but the good thing is that you're able to capture people, capture their email, because that's what we want to do. We want to be able to retain the people that come to your website. Revu. Revu is something that I literally just learned about, and it's pretty cool if you are a active Twitter user. You can connect it with your Twitter, and you can send your tweets as a newsletter. So that makes it all easier. So just like this first tip that I have here of whatever you post on social media, post it to your email list. The same thing is great about Revu. So if you post informative tweets, and not just because a lot of times I know a lot of us like to use Twitter as like our public journal in a way. But if you ended up using tweets that are informational, you can repurpose those tweets into Revu and make it like an exclusive email list. All right, more tips. So don't take it personal when people unsubscribe. The good thing about unsubscribing is that they're doing you a favor. The favor is you're narrowing down even more the ways that you can serve your audience. Don't take it personal when people don't open. So even for me, there's one, ever since I graduated from like Cornell, they still send us resources. I don't open it because I don't feel the need for it yet, but I know that I will. So your message will be the same thing. Like right now, I don't think I need a gift box. I don't think I need copy editing, but I will. And I know that it's because this name keeps showing up in my inbox, I know exactly where to go as soon as I'm ready. And then also subject lines matter. So I think I gave a few examples of how to alternate between asking a question, including their name, making it personal, and just kind of tweaking and playing around with the subject line. Play around with the subject line more than you do with the actual content in the email. Because you could have nothing but a link to your YouTube video or nothing but a photo that promotes your next availabilities for sessions. But if your subject line and people aren't opening your email, then it kind of goes out the window. But again, don't be discouraged. Marketing is all about playing around. And then grammar does not have to be perfect. So just going back into that, I know that for a while, English was my favorite subject in school. And so sometimes I take that too hard. I'm like, oh no, I have to make sure that my email is perfect. Or, oh no, I sent the email out and there's a grammar error. No one's going to buy it from me. But again, just go back to give more value than you sell, and it would completely be overlooked. So I think I want to give a few more examples of, what should you really talk about in your email. So what type of posts that represent your brand and personality, photos, like of screenshots, and videos, like if you are on YouTube or you were featured on the YouTube, you can embed the video, the link to the video. If you're having an event or speaking at events, you can post that. But I think the most important thing is really to just understand your audience. So the same way that you think about, okay, who do I want to engage with me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, the same thing applies for your email list. The email list is really just the most controlled platform. So of course, this is the perfect time to really talk about you, talk about your services, talk about your favorite quotes and tips, and your testimonials and your wins. So I'm glad you asked, because MailChimp, I feel like, is really, really good with e-commerce. I mean, they already integrate with, I saw Shopify and Stripe, I believe. So they already integrate with, people can buy directly from your email. So that's what I love about MailChimp, is that they're making so many changes, and probably even more changes because they were recently acquired for like billions of dollars. So they're going to make even more changes for it to be better for you to sell directly from the email. So, and, but again, because MailChimp is good with automation with everything, there is also Zapier, like for example, through Flowdesk, it's still kind of getting better. Flowdesk is, it's a baby, so it's still getting better with automation. So I use Zapier to automate, depending on which lead page they came from, to let it automatically segment for me. Or if someone came to my calendar link, to automatically add them that way. So automation is everything. Zapier, it's advanced as far as tech goes, but it has so many ways for you to just automate and simplify your life.
So question, so you know how, like, basically what you're saying, if somebody like schedules like a consultation or something with you, you automatically get their information, but technically they didn't. So I kind of feel like those instances are tricky. would you still automatically add? Because I mean, I have like my mail list right now, and sometimes I notice like, oh, this person maybe just made an inquiry, but they didn't subscribe. So should I automatically add them when I'm sending out my emails, or they're like, oh, I didn't subscribe? Is that like violation of privacy, even though you have their information?
No, that's not the violation of the GDPR because they technically gave you your email address, right? With that inquiry, they technically want to learn more from you by actually doing the inquiry. So it doesn't violate because they gave you their email address versus you getting it from the website, for example. So, okay, so a great example of when to use it. Now, I'm a night owl, and say, for example, I wanted to just get this email out. But also say I'm closing, I'm having a discount. There's like 5 days left. I'm having this discount. It's half of when people, I could tell it was half of who was opening it last time. So probably because it was, nighttime and it got bumped down to the other emails, I would resend it again, probably at like 9 o'clock in the morning with a different subject line. Or some people just say in parentheses resending, and I tend to open it like, oh, I didn't see it the first time. So that's a perfect example of if you happen to send it at 3 o'clock one day and the next day you send it with resending, or did you see this, or I wanted to make sure you saw this, just resend it again at a different time with a different subject line. So for MailChimp, basically I have automation set for when I get to sign up for my email course, photography email course. So I'm able to set up as a journey, as they call it, for when they come in, they say hi, and then, oh yeah, by the way, MailChimp will show you the average open rate and the average click rates. So click rate is how many people actually click on the links, and open rate is how many people actually open. So thankfully I'm doing pretty good as far as people actually opening, because that's also the important thing of making sure that you also have people that want your emails, not just anyone. So like I was saying earlier, if they send you, they say that they want to work with you by sending an inquiry, that's already a new person for you to warm up with email sequences. So they get the email. This is set for one day. I'll go over the flow there too, but every email is set for how many days you want to send it as soon as they subscribe, and how many emails you want to send as well. And then, so for me, I have different forms, and I integrated it with Zapier to know that when they sign up for Flowdesk, so I don't really use it that much yet because I'm in a different focus media group one, and then there's my personal one. So you, with the new email, it's with the emails that are sent, you can always see who sends. And this is where I was referring to, like, organize it. You can organize the emails of like, okay, specifically for photography, or this is specifically for copy edit, or this is specifically for the product. And then also in your workflow, you can do the same thing of adjust it for when someone's signs it, they get the lead magnet if you want that, or you just start nurturing them by saying, hi, my name is so-and-so, I've been in the industry for a while. In the next email, I'm going to talk about why I started doing what I do. Before kicking them out, I send like a different email, something on the lines of how can I support you? And even if they don't respond to that, if they open that, you know that they're just either busy or quiet or something. But if they don't even open that, then yeah, I'll eventually spend some time removing people who have not literally opened in months. Perfect. Yeah, definitely start with MailChimp, and if you can, start playing with it tonight. Because setting up that sequence is not as simple as 1, 2, 3. I mean, it is if you've been, let's say, for example, you were literally building that audience on social media, and you can copy and paste those posts over the email. But yeah. think what I had to do, I had to get out of my own head because I would be following all these rules. And then when they don't work for me, I'm like, it's not working at all. So, basically it's half and half. Like some people, I've noticed some people respond to me when I share a relatable story. Like people respond to me when I share that. If I simply just ask, what are you doing today? Or like, what do you want to, what do you want? Like, what do you struggle with specifically? Like, you have to either be very specific or don't ask the question at all. Just let them know, like, hey, I read all emails, and then they'll send you an email. So it's kind of half and half. Like, it depends on the people. Because I've noticed also they'll read my email, but still send me a DM. So it really varies. And so you're on the right track with having product base. You want people to buy, not necessarily reply. But even with service based as well, you want people to book a call, click on something, not necessarily reply. So, it could be the same thing unless you kind of like put it in every single email, maybe at the top of the email, like I don't bite, send me an email back. But for the most part, you'll know that you're actually going forward by, say, if you always have that call to action at the bottom of the email of book a strategy call with me, you'll know that. But also you'll know where they came from when you put it in your sign up form of like, what's your first name, last name, how did you find me, what do you want, or select from like 3 options of what do you want to learn from. Like you can do that, automate that, as well. So I feel like there's a way to kind of go around getting replies versus knowing that, okay, I'm actually getting people to buy. And if you haven't heard of it, CoSchedule is like an all-in-one social media scheduling platform. But what it is they have this subject line tester where you can test out your subject line and it'll give you the like score of like 0 to 100 of how well that subject line will convert. So of course, questions in the subject line will always convert better than, hey, it's me, or something like that, Me personally, because I too love writing, I feel I love those more than like Facebook ad generators or posting on social media every single month, because it's evergreen, like truly evergreen. Like you don't even have to, you can run it every single month or you can run it every time someone signs up. It's automated, like literally automatic. So I love those better because it's just literally, you can use it anytime. You can, anytime you want to launch in every quarter, anytime somebody signs up for your email list. Yeah, well, perfect. I'm so glad you learned so much, and feel free to say hi. Well, say hi through email. Let's do that. Say hi through email.
What's your Instagram?
It's at Illuminous1. That's the personal one.
Okay.
Illuminous1 is the personal one. And so I'm active in DM, but if you look on there and it looks like I haven't posted, it's because I don't post. I email. So.
Thank you for listening to the See Life Different podcast. To view this podcast episode's show notes and to listen to previous episodes, please visit zaakirah.com/podcast. That's ZAKIRAHNAYYYAR.com/podcast. Be sure to also leave a review so others can discover it too.